This week on the iRacing Downshift, Greg recounts his Daytona wreck,
and I left a lane and a half instead of 3 lanes.
Kevin breaks down a new sim rig design,
Do you think he'll actually race from inside a submarine? Because that would be a heck of a story.
and Chris plays a minigame.
Cisco used serendipitous, so I had to match with another, 10-cent vocabulary word there.
All that and more, so strap in.
Welcome to the iRacing Downshift. I'm your host, Greg West. I'm back with the boys, Kevin Bobbitt and Chris Leone. We're a little late on this one, but we've been a little busy, haven't we, Kevin?
It's been a busy new year. We were going to record last week, and then we didn't. So apologies to everybody, but that happens.
Is it because you and Chris have been busy with I'm checking the outline that has bbeen sarcastically bulleted and formatted perfectly?
Chris's outline brought me back to like 3rd grade when you learned how to do a proper outline. It was like it was disturbing. So
Is this APA or MLA, out of curiosity, formatting?
It's whatever Microsoft Word put in, but I have to say, I never thought I'd see the words disingenuous use of proper outline formatting in an
You're
email
welcome for that.
anywhere. Yeah, no, exactly. Like I said, disingenuous outline formatting is my favorite REM album and had all the hits on it.
it's a big one. It went platinum, I think.
Yes, it did.
What have we been up to, Chris? What have you been up to? You are a very you live a very interesting life.
And
Eclectic.
just softball it in like that, don't you? Well, other than trying to build you about 20 Week 13 series ideas that may or may not be ill-advised here and there, I got new rats. I took a break for a few months. I have new rats.
And what are their names?
Yeah,
their names are
Ding Dong.
Their
joke.
names are Noon and Midnight, mostly because I thought it'd be really funny to have an albino rat named Midnight, and then usually I name one and then the other one gets a name in response to the first name. So yeah.
Well, congratulations on the new family additions. That's very exciting.
Thank you.
How are their
They're
personalities
very scared
coming
of me.
along? How are their personalities?
They are still scared to death of me, but they're babies.
Oh, it's okay. Status quo remains unchanged. Got it.
Yeah.
Are they house trained and stuff? They run around the house or no?
No.
Oh.
No, I like actually knowing where my pets are. So
Gotcha.
Does Emily like the rats? Like, for real? She's not going to watch this, so you're safe. This is a safe space.
Yeah, I don't think you want to open that can of worms right now.
Oh, we do.
Yeah,
We do.
Yes, I do. Actually, I do.
No, this is
episode.
iRacing Downshift. This is not Jerry Springer.
Let's bring Emily on as a guest next time. How about that?
Leone.
No, it's going to be 2-syllable. Neither of us are set up for that. That doesn't work.
Kevin.
Yeah, see, that's better. That's better.
We have had the couples on. We had Tyler and Lisa.
Oh yeah, there's precedent.
Yeah, we have done it before. I mean, Lisa works for the company though, so she can be voluntold.
Yeah, exactly. That's different.
What about you, Kevin? Did you get any new pets?
I did not get any rats or anything. No. Ren, my dog, is still going strong. 15 years old. She naps a lot most of the time, but she'll wake up and run around. She plays fetch with the ball. She'll fetch it once, and then the next time she's like, "Yeah, I've had enough." So,
You go get it.
yeah. She's living her best life, so it's all good. But no new pets in my house. How about
Any
you?
other
You
exciting
need a
things
dog.
for the holiday?
Lots of family around, which was great.
You had the boys.
The boys were home. One home from college, one home from the Army. He was on leave, and now they're all back, so now the house is quiet again, except for me and the dog. So it's all good. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, as it's January 31st.
You can still say it if it's January.
Yeah.
We split in under the recording. Won't make it out in time.
What about you, Greg?
Kind of the same thing. Stayed laid pretty low for the holidays, and exciting. A couple of weeks here at iRacing with the iRacing Daytona 24, followed up by the outside version. I think IMSA is that what the outdoor version?
Yep.
Is that
The
what
outdoor
IMSA?
version of the iRacing Daytona 24.
Something like that. But January is a great month if you're a motorsport fan, and so been watching a lot of that, and excited to get back into this. So let's kick it off. Let's talk about it. iRacing Daytona 24, the biggest event in sim racing history. 18,500 drivers, over 4,000 teams. Anybody know how many miles were driven? We have that stat.
Yeah, I was typing it up while we were going through the outline. I went back to Dougie's tweet. 10,228,118 miles over 2,873,067 laps.
How many times around the world is that?
Somebody do the math.
Hang on. Yeah.
Chris is on that. Kevin, we didn't
get
get an incident count. We should have got an incident count.
Yeah, it was probably close to 10 million.
I contributed a few of those. I got killed. International.
I saw it on Twitter that you got killed. So.
Yeah, that's the problem. I was in the Ferrari and I got GTP'd. That's just the nicest way to put it. You know what? But this is a great iRacing lesson here. I looked back at the replay and there's something I could have done better. I knew he was going to send it from 1.2 seconds back going into the International Horseshoe, and I left a lane and a half instead of 3 lanes. And I knew it was coming. I don't know why it wasn't out. It should have just drove off in the grass anyway.
I feel like this was clearly your fault based on your description.
Probably. No, the second part was my fault because he clipped me, spun me. I ended up completely sideways right in the middle of the International Horseshoe. And here comes a bunch of GT3s and a couple more GTPs, and some dove to the inside and some dove to the outside. So I just held still until the second wave got there, and I got T-boned hard.
Somebody else got caught up too. That's
oh yeah.
Wait a second, you did the predictable thing when you got wracked, and
that was the mistake. You know, I've gone to driving school. If you spin 2 feet in, and just go. Yeah. Lesson learned. Give room. Give all of the track to the GTP. I think that was it.
Do we have a sarcasm font for the podcast, or is that just the whole show?
Comic Sans. For
the record, I've got the math. The circumference number I pulled up was 24,901 miles. So that puts us at 410 3/4 trips around the Earth.
That's a lot. Is that around the equator?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. We're doing math on the fly, which you already don't trust my setup building.
So we probably have it wrong, but we're going with it.
We probably have it wrong. Somebody's going to fact check it.
We're going to check this in post, by the way.
Well, no. The comments are going to check it.
Yeah, no.
I don't have to do anything.
Yeah. The comments.
Yeah, our 4 fans, somebody's going to do the math and tell us that Chris was wrong.
Let's tell Chris that he was wrong, right? He did. Let's be clear. He did the math, not me.
Oh, yeah, they're going to tell us that Chris was wrong.
If the viewers look on the left side right here, so if you look over there, you can see Twitch chat's actually figuring it out right now in real time.
I like it.
Okay. What about on YouTube?
Oh, yeah, I guess that would be down there somewhere. Yeah, down there.
What about on Facebook?
Facebook has they do. It'd be over there as well.
Okay. I just want to make sure we covered all our bases.
This is the Dance Dance revolution of Cisco pointing places.
Kevin, you had some staff that did pretty well. Corey and Cole,
both on the marketing team, ended up winning their split. I think they were in what were they in LMP2?
I think they were P2s.
Yeah. So that's pretty awesome. They were pretty excited, pretty exhausted. It was them, and I think they had two of their friends driving as well, but 2 staff. There were multiple staff teams, but that was the one that did the best that I'm aware of. So, much better than Greg's. How long were you in the race, actually?
I think we made it like 6 hours in.
Okay, all right.
But we were
exciting.
Fully totaled. It was 45 minutes, and we decided at that point we enjoy sleep. So that was the end of that.
Yeah. But, awesome. And there was some other big name guy in one of the splits, maybe the reigning world champion F1 driver.
Multiple time world champion F1 driver.
Max was in, huh?
How do you Verstappen? How do you say that? Max Verstappen.
Rex Verhoeven.
Rex Verhoeven was in. Okay.
Yeah, Rex
Team Redline. Max Verstappen win GTD in the top split. That was pretty exciting to see. And they came back. They were down early, and came back for the win. I have to say here, and this is where I go off script, Cisco, sorry in advance. It's funny how this event is beginning to emulate the real world event, because the number of emails and Discord messages and smoke signals and carrier pigeons about recommendations for the BOP from the teams, there's a lot of
lobbying.
And we don't get taken out to dinner or anything.
I know that maybe they should start sending like a box of chocolates or something.
I mean, I'm not saying we can be bribed. Disclaimer: we cannot be bribed. We do everything by the data, and we want everybody to be successful and have a chance to win in every single.
But we still accept chocolate.
But we do accept chocolate. Who was it that sent donuts after they win eNASCAR?
It was Conti, but
he's retired.
Yeah,
Conti,
retired,
if
so
you're
no more
listening,
donuts. Yeah.
if you just want to continue to send donuts to the office, you're more than welcome. But yeah, it was really interesting to get everybody's car is slow. It's funny how that works. That's how I feel. The BOP is pretty good. If every single car is slow, we're good to go. Anyway, it's really quiet and awkward right now, so we're gonna move on.
We're gonna cut that section out.
I was just going through a lot of PTSD from my early 20s, right there.
Moving on, we got INDYCAR. Kevin, INDYCAR is back.
Oh, you heard the news, huh? So,
I have heard.
You heard the news. It's old news at this point since we're the end of January, but it's super exciting to be back.
It's continuing to develop, though.
Yeah. So lots going on with INDYCAR. Obviously, the biggest part I think is the Indy 500 is back. So we're running that the week after the real world Indy 500. So that's awesome. We're going to run it similar to the way we've done it in the past. So there'll be an open series and a fixed series, although they will run the same week. In the past, we ran them different weeks. Trying something new. Part of it got added to the special events calendar after we already published it. We also think this might be a nice change up, so we'll see how it goes. But INDYCAR is fully supporting it. They're on board. They're super excited. Been meeting with their team on a regular basis, so it's awesome to have the communication, and we're talking, what can we do to help them? What can they do to help us? It's back to a partnership level, so that's awesome. I think that we've updated the names of all the series that are currently running. We'll be updating tracks for next season. You can get into that, Greg, but it'll be back to what you guys were used to, a couple years ago. So
yeah,
we're excited about that.
The goal was real simple: just put it back how it was.
Right. Exactly.
But there are a couple of small additions, as Kevin said. We're going to just really due to scheduling, we were kind of boxed in when we could do the fixed and the open Indy 500. So yeah, we'll try it together this year, and we'll look at the information and the community feedback, and maybe it stays that way next year. Maybe it goes back. We'll see. We don't know what we don't know yet.
But it's still so this is the one special event that has separate qualifying, right? So
that's correct. Yeah.
Qualifying all week, which is, if you've been around a while, that's kind of how it used to work for most of our series, that they were just qualifying all the time. It was separate sections. It wasn't part of the race session. But so you can qualify up through, I don't even, do you remember how that
think
works?
You qualify, we haven't built the series yet, but I believe it's through the Friday,
Thursday or Friday afternoon, something like that. And then
I don't have the calendar in front of me, but yeah.
And then whatever session you join, it'll take your qualifying time and grid you based on that. So.
Yep. So it's a lot of fun. It's really popular to emulate Bump Week that way, or Bump Day, I should say. It's Bump Week on iRacing. Bump Day
but there are no bumps. Everybody makes it, so that's
everybody makes the field.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we're also adding a couple other changes. We're bringing back the DW12 to the Dallara Dash. That'll be really popular. We made some changes there that were necessitated. Happy to bring back the community and fan favorite to that series.
So that's changing next season, or
that will that changes with the March.
In March, yeah.
We are also adding a fixed series that complements the open setup series, and also all the IndyCar series are going to be at B moving forward, even the oval series. But we'll have a short sprint race on opposite hours of the open series. That sprint race will be fixed. Just trying to get more people involved. The IR18 is one of the best cars on the service. We have a ton of data for it. We've got a great relationship with Dallara, and just they're open with everything that we build with them. And we just want more people to try it. It's one of the hardest cars to set up in the service because it's so aero sensitive, but with fixed setups, you can get in, strap in and go. And that's a cool opportunity. Kevin's nodding like he's going to say something. All right, moving on to section 2, I guess is bullet C, letter I. whatever this is on Chris's outline. Real world drivers finding success on the back of their iRacing relationships. I've read it directly off the script, and Max Esterson's a great example. Handing to Chris for that.
I thought we were going to go the other way around, that Kevin would take this one.
Oh, sorry, Kevin, you can talk about Max.
I thought I had the next one.
We're like a bunch of bad outfielders, just not calling for the ball.
All right. Well, Max is moving up. I mean, if you followed along, we've been supporting him. He's been supporting us through his career as he's kind of moved up rapidly, because he's not been racing all that long, only a handful of years. He's going to Formula 3 for the season, which is a nice step up. If you don't know him, young American driver who got his start on iRacing. When you see him on track, there's always an iRacing logo on his car, and you'll see typically there's some other sim-related sponsors. I don't know who he's got lined up for this year, so I won't mention names, but in the past he's had names you would recognize from our world, right? I mean, he's got real-world sponsors as well, but it's nice to see the integration.
Red Bull on his helmet.
Yeah. Well, that's also sim racing related.
Casual.
Right, Chris?
Yeah, just a little.
But, yeah, I think he had a steering wheel on the side, a sim steering wheel, things like that. So, but great young American driver, so cool to see him moving up the ranks. We're doing trying to support him as best we can. A lot of, promotion, doing a little bit to help him. And great representative of our world, the sim racing world in the real world space. So awesome to see him moving up.
Yeah, and so everybody knows, it's not just we, are helping him out with sponsorship and promotion and whatnot. Max, there's a reciprocated relationship, because Max has helped us a lot in vehicle development. He has a lot of experience in Formula Ford. We developed the FF1600, and we actually scanned the car he raced. And then he helped us with the development of that. We also have another project in the works right now that he is helping us on. More news on that at a later date and time. #soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably important to note, just in general with sponsorship, our logo on the side of the car is lovely, but it's not a smart way to spend money necessarily, right? It needs to be a relationship, and there needs to be more involved in that. So if you're sending sponsorship requests and a logo on the side of your car isn't going to get it cut. Isn't going to cut it. So
the ROI,
just the crowd
like that.
Yeah.
All right, now we'll throw it over to Chris to talk about somebody else who has had a long-term relationship with us. Glenn McGee has been on fire lately. What?
Well, I did the interview with him last month, Kevin.
Yeah, he did.
All right, fine. You can talk.
How about you get here? I'll be quiet. You guys both take it.
All right. Well, yeah. As mentioned, we had a big interview just before Christmas with Glenn McGee, talking about kind of his rise through the ranks over the past decade, moving up through MX5 Cup, which he won the opportunity to even start in the first place on iRacing. His career path from there, focusing on Lamborghini Super Trofeo last year, and then going out and winning the World Finals and becoming a world champion, and the first virtual to FIA world champion, which just an incredible accomplishment no matter how you swing it. But he had a lot of great stories about just the drastic change that comes from when you move up from an MX-5 to a Super Trofeo, which in so many ways could not be more different vehicles. But Glenn is another sim racer who has really done just so much.
Yeah, truly got his start on iRacing.
Yes.
We were working with Mazda, 6-7 years ago, and he got an invite to the Mazda Shootout, which is where they take Mazda drivers, put them on track, and do all kinds of stuff, data analysis, feedback, sponsorship stuff, and they select a winner who gets a scholarship to race in the MX-5 series, and he won that. He was the first sim racer to ever win that, because he was going up against real-world Mazda drivers, guys that race spec Miatas or open-wheel Mazdas, things like that, and he won that, and just stuck with it. He's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in the paddock. If you see him, he's usually got an iRacing something on, because he's proud of where he came from, which is awesome to see. But he'll stop and talk, and as long as he's not jumping in the car for a session, he'll talk to you all day, and super nice guy.
And he does the pose when he wins. Don't forget that. Don't forget that he does the pose when he wins.
He does do the pose, the iRacing pose, but yeah. So
And Kevin,
Let off with that on the UI.
Yeah, one of the cool things about Glenn, too, and last year was the fact that he came back from some adversity at the beginning of the year because he started the year in the wall at Daytona during the Spec Miata race and broke his hand. And he came back from that
really badly.
Yeah,
He's got
like
metal
really
stuff
bad.
in there now. Yeah, it was a bad
And actually
wreck.
used iRacing for physical therapy to recover. But that's also part of what allowed him to kind of focus on the Super Trofeo season, as he talks about in the interview. And we'll have to throw the link in the description. But
link in chat, right?
Yes, link in bio, everybody.
No, it's a really good interview, though. Definitely check it out. It's, once again, really nice guy. I've not had the privilege of meeting him, but Kevin has spoken highly of him, since I've worked at iRacing. So it's really cool to see the success, and yeah, it's good stuff. And most recently, one last guy we really want to talk about and really congratulate, Dan Morad, coming off a victory at the Rolex 24, big-time iRacer. Cisco, you've got the details there.
Yeah, and it was a really cool story. He had a busy weekend at the Rolex this year, ran in Michelin Pilot, and then in the Windward Racing Mercedes got the GTD victory. So it was really cool to see. He was super emotional in the car. You could see that on the broadcast. Once he crossed the line and pulled over after the race, he was crying in the car for a while. He was emotional in his interview. It was really cool. But, yeah, Dan's always been a big supporter of us, big streamer, is doing some racewear gloves now that you can buy and been promoting that. So through that, he's gotten to work with a lot of sim racers. I know he has a good relationship with Casey Kerwin, for example. But yeah, has been a big pillar of the community, and it's cool to see, another iRacer go out and, hey, win a Rolex. That's not a bad weekend.
I think I saw a stat from him that he's won 2 WeatherTech races in his career so far, and both of them were the Rolex 24. So that's pretty impressive.
That's a good batting average. I that's fine.
Yeah, and we did a piece on him. There's a video piece. He did one, and we did one as well, because he used iRacing. So he's not just a racer, but he's a coach. A lot of these guys coach other drivers as they're coming up. So he was coaching one of his teammates using iRacing a lot, and he was using his iRacing team and guys that he races with on iRacing to help with that coaching. And the owner of that team ended up inviting everybody out to drive the real-world car. I forget which track. It was in Texas, but I forget which track. But check it out. We did a little video piece on it. He put a bunch of sim racers into his car, kind of as a thank you for helping him get up to speed. So really neat community stuff for sure.
Absolutely. Stealing Chris's line.
We never put that on the shirt. We should have.
Moving on, section 3 of Chris's sarcastic outline, esport news. Good timing since we delayed the show because we kicked off the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series last night, right, Chris?
Yes, we did, with our preseason exhibition, clash, free-for-all, whatever you want to call it. Moved back to Daytona this year. But before we actually get into the race details themselves, the series got a complete kind of overhaul in the offseason. The prize pool is the highest it's ever been, more than $500,000.
That's a big increase.
That is a lot of money.
Kevin, it was $300,000 last year.
It's a couple $100,000 more. It's awesome.
Yeah, measly $300,000. No, let's bump it up. $500,000.
There is
bucks.
A lot of money.
Now that's not for the that's the whole.
That's the whole prize pool.
That's the whole prize pool.
Yeah, that's everything.
So that means lots of people can win money. So.
Yeah, champion still takes home that $100,000 at the end of the year, but a lot of new faces. Not so much with the driver pool, as we only have a handful of rookies, and a lot of the people who weren't on the grid last year that worked their way back in are actually veterans of the series, fell out for a little while, came back. But 6 new teams, a lot of names you've heard of. Spire Motorsports, a Cup Series team, the virtual return of Kevin Harvick Incorporated, which is really cool if you've been following NASCAR over the past couple of decades. Kevin Harvick always did so much in the Xfinity and Craftsman Truck Series, and now we've got virtual KHI, which is awesome. Multiple esports teams, M80, Oxygen Esports, which is local, our friends at BS Competition, and then a project that I have been working on for a few years behind the scenes, Nitro Circus now has an eNASCAR team, which is a really cool bit of crossover and trying to get Travis and the entire Nitro team involved a little bit more this year. So really exciting to have some new faces there. It meant that free agency just went completely bonkers, and I think it was about 1 out of every 4 drivers stayed in place from last year. Everybody else changed up.
No, very exciting. Exciting to see all the new teams. And once again, you hit on this. Some of the biggest names did stay in place. Ottinger, Zelensky, Keegan Leahy. There's a lot of people that did stay and they're starting to kind of build relationships and brands. And I mean, isn't that Kevin? Maybe talk about the goals of this series.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. Trying to build brands and relationships and get these drivers more known, right, so that they can do more both in this series and other things that they choose to do in sim racing. But the new teams that came on board are super excited, right? They're already doing a ton of promotion. You see it all over social. Shout out to Florian from BS Competition, because he's the most excited guy I've ever talked to about having a team. So that's awesome. What else? One other thing to note is that the series races are at a different time now. So if you're in the U.S. on the East Coast, they're 8 p.m. instead of 9 p.m., which is awesome for me because they were getting late for me, and as I get older, it's past my bedtime. But hopefully we'll change get some better viewership. I know it's a little early if you're in California, but it'll be all right.
Kevin eats dinner at 4:30, just in case anybody's wondering.
Anyway, it's just something to note. So if you're going to tune in, it'll be an hour earlier than it was in the past.
And if you're wanting to participate and not just watch eNASCAR, as I step all over Cisco right there, we do have the iRacing Daytona 500 coming up in a couple of weeks, the week of February 13th through the 19th, standard NIS times kicking off the year. So yeah, very exciting. One of our biggest special events of the season.
Yeah, I did want to jump in and say you were mentioning partnerships, Kevin. One of the drivers that changed teams this year, but it's actually kind of a cool story, Colin Bowden, one of our more outspoken and social drivers in the series. He actually works on submarines as his day job and moved over to RFK Racing over Roush Fenway Keselowski and is going to be driving the Build Submarines car this year. So it sort of works out, another one of those very serendipitous sponsorship opportunities.
Do you think he'll actually race from inside a submarine? Because that would be a heck of a story.
How would you get the internet out of the submarine?
I feel like they probably have better comms than we do.
Whoa.
Right.
Can't talk about that.
Yeah, I feel like they have pretty good comms. No.
As long as you're not using a knockoff GameCube controller.
We probably can't force him to use a camera though when he's doing that. So right.
Chris went there. Moving on. Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup. We've got the season kicking off, I believe, this weekend, right, Kevin?
Saturday it kicks off. We have a All-Star Series again, which is awesome. A lot of big name streamers that you'd recognize. The All-Star race is always super fun to watch. It's a little bit more casual, a little less serious, and the guys like to have fun with it. So that'll be awesome. And then it's followed by the round one of the Porsche Esports Super Cup Series, which has, I guess, kind of like Coke, some changes this year. So the format's changing. We're fewer events, but we're doing kind of a mid-season tournament, extra points on the final round, things like that, just to mix it up, make it a little bit more exciting. That's the idea, trying to put on a good show, right? Prize pool still $200,000 plus some pretty awesome prizes from some of the sponsors, so over $200,000. Awesome partnership with Porsche, Tag Heuer, and all the other sponsors. So I'm excited to kick that off. The race on East Coast time, I believe All-Star race is 1 p.m. on Saturday with the main event kicking off at 2 p.m. So hope you guys can tune in. It'll be on our Twitch, Porsche Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, every place that Cisco can put it. Right, Cisco?
Yeah, exactly. And one of the big changes, Kevin, as well, is the fact that our opening race has changed for the first time in, I think, 3 years now. It's no longer Hockenheim. We're going to the Daytona road course. So, if you haven't had enough Daytona yet, we got more Daytona for you.
No, that's a good point. And it'll be the first rolling start we've had as well, right?
Yes.
So we didn't want to do a standing start on the angled banking at Daytona. That's bad. That would be a disaster. It'd be fun to watch, but it would end the race pretty quickly. So rolling start, first time we'll have that in this series. So fingers crossed.
And the All-Stars are driving the prototypes too. We're putting them in the prototypes the
All-Stars
first
are
three
starting
races.
in 963s, right?
What could possibly go wrong?
Go big or go home, right? So it should be good.
It's interesting to watch. The actual esports series is some of the best road racing you will see. Period. The All-Star race is some of the most fun streaming you will see. Period.
Exactly.
And so they complement each other really well. I think, what was it? Spa, was that last year before last? We had there was Kerwin, Matt Malone, who else?
Quirk.
Anyway, they're Quirk on the last lap. They're all talking to each other and talking trash a little bit, and door banging all the way around the last lap. That was a ton of fun to watch. So tune in. Next, iRacing Thrustmaster World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series. That's a long one. That's a really long one. Handing that one off to Chris because it's on dirt. I don't know if you guys know this. Chris likes dirt.
Forget the fact that it's on dirt. Let's not bury the lead. This championship came down to a tie. And not only did it come down to a tie, with the tiebreaker, which is feature victories, it literally came down to a single lap. Ryan Avila, Aiden Forster, teammates, front runners all year, just incredibly consistent all season long. They kind of had a big swing on points in the penultimate round of the season. Cisco used serendipitous, so I had to match with another, 10-cent vocabulary word there.
We're winning Scrabble today.
Yeah, we are. So Aiden comes into the final race, 21-point lead. Justin Malillo's recap has all the details and all the math and everything. Aiden gives up a few points in the heats because they're in the same heat, and Ryan comes off much better. Ryan's towards the front of the field the entire race. Aiden Forster's got to claw his way through from 16th on a grid to 20. When the checkered flag finally falls, Logan Rumsey's up front, takes the checkered flag, but Ryan Avila, Aiden Forster tied for the championship on points. It comes down to a race at Fairbury where Aiden Forster only led one lap, but it was the most important one, the last one, took his only victory of the season. That was the tiebreaker. That's the difference between taking home 10 grand and about $4,500. So big swing. Sometimes that's all it comes down to, though, is one lap over the entire course of a season. So congratulations to both of those guys. They both put on a hell of a fight. Logan, I believe, jumped up to third in points with the victory. Alex Bergeron won half the season, but you guys know how it goes. Sometimes you can win a lot of races, but if you don't have luck in the ones you don't win, it doesn't come down to it.
You got to be consistent, right? That's how you win a championship.
I feel like Bergeron's won his fair share of races on iRacing. And I feel like he will be back for more. Let's be honest. He can wheel. But yeah, it was incredible that it came down to the wire. And once again, the tie. Stat boy, we've never had that happen, right?
This is the first time where we had a tie, and it came down to the drivers side by side, and whoever could edge out who they were in front of. And that coming down to the points victory, which, let me tell you, that's not fun to broadcast, because I really wanted to show Logan at the end crossing the line for the race. I'm like, I can't leave this because they're literally side by side for the championship.
Split screen. Get good, Cisco. Get good. All right, moving on. iRacing New Year's resolutions. This is part 4 for those that are keeping score at home. Actually, I want to go back just for a moment. You guys were talking about your Scrabble words. Chris, I said disingenuous outline formatting. I didn't get any points for disingenuous.
We weren't playing
almost
Scrabble
too
yet,
long
but
to be played.
We can retcon again.
This is an educational.
There's too many letters in that for that to be a Scrabble word. Like, I don't think you can make that. I don't know.
Supercalifragilistic.
Expialidocious?
Indeed.
Also, too long to play.
That's double Scrabble, Kevin, when you have two boards at the same time.
Oh, I see.
Oh, gosh. All right, iRacing New Year's resolutions. What are we planning on getting better at this year? Participating. I'm going to go with participation number 1. Also, Kevin and I are going to do a special event together.
We did agree to that.
We did agree. We're going to do Sebring. What car are we driving? Not GT3s, please.
One
of the prototypes. One of the prototypes. I figure you'd want to do the Porsche GTP.
I don't know. I might
Cadillac
be slow in that
good,
car. Cadillac sounds good.
Cadillac sounds
I don't know. Maybe we can do a poll, and our 4 fans could pick the car we drive.
Who would? Yeah, actually, comment below on what you think that we should race. I like being in the fast class because you decide when the stupid overtake attempt.
It's the only way I can pass anybody.
Well, it makes it more entertaining. I can be 3 seconds off the pace, but I feel great passing all those GT3s. So, but yeah, comment down below what you think we should race. But yeah, just racing more. We have a lot going on this year. A lot of really cool stuff coming in the build. Looking forward to talking about that probably on our next podcast, if we're honest. Yeah, there will be more opportunities to participate for a lot of different types of iRacers, and that is very exciting.
Agreed. I'm also going to work on my golf swing this year. So, for whatever.
You're always going to work on your golf swing.
I know. It
doesn't mean it's going to get any better. Sometimes it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
It's like me saying I'm going to lose weight. It's the perpetual resolution, but how much progress do you really make?
Chris, didn't you lose like a lot of weight?
Yeah, it's been a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, you get to try again.
Yeah. Well, it's not so much new year, new me. That hasn't worked for a couple of years. So.
Well, on that note, thanks for listening.
Wait, we got to give a shout out.
Hold on.
Shout out to Sean, who's working the soundboard for us.
Oh yeah, it's the weekly. I have to turn the monitor and lean over.
Yeah, where's Sean?
Yeah, there he is. There he is.
Thank you, Sean.
Hi, Sean.
Also, are we going to let Chris off without talking about his road rating and his road license? I thought that was a whole thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in all of you for.
Yeah, it's not in the outline.
Didn't put it in the outline.
You wrote the
Spent
outline,
more
Chris.
time making a professional outline. You forgot the depth.
I forgot to throw myself under the bus.
Yes.
I figured you guys would do. Greg, you don't even stick to the outline half the time. I thought you'd do that on the fly.
No, I like to have it organized. Then I know what to mess around with.
Yeah,
Cisco didn't even prepare anything for this.
Yeah.
Usually he's got like, nice graphics and whatnot. He's like, no, Greg's just going to go away anyway. And then
it wasn't because we had a broadcast. It wasn't because we had a broadcast or anything last night, Greg, or,
It's the first show of the year. And we're
yes, Chris is supposed to have at least a D license in something by now.
I have a B in dirt road.
No, sorry, something that's paved.
Something that people play.
I'm not going there.
Does that count? Does that count as the first mention? Can I do?
Yeah, you can do the counter.
Yeah,
well, he said Travis earlier.
He did say Travis earlier. I guess that's two. Yeah.
There's two. There's two of my secret words. Can we get like the Pee-wee's Playhouse and just have everybody shout and scream from now on?
No.
I feel like
I'm going to go with no.
That's too high budget. No, my resolution is to finally get somebody to commit to doing that development level off-road car with us. If you're listening, sign the licensing deal, please.
Wow, that's direct plea.
Chris bullying licensors on the podcast.
It's a tactic. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. No, we're having to shift directions in how we do this. New year. I guess that is new year, new me. That's a little more direct than I usually am.
Well, thanks for listening to this edition of the iRacing Downshift. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe or unsubscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else Chris puts this thing, or Cisco, whoever puts it up these days. We've got a lot of people on the team now. We've got, for Kevin Bobbitt, Chris Leone, Cisco, and Sean, I am Greg West, and we'll see you on the track at Daytona.